This first battle at Hefei was fought at the same time as the Battle of Jiangling between late 208 and early 209. Sun Quan personally led an assault on Tao's fortress in an attempt to open up the war into two fronts, in the west and in the north. There may have been somewhere between 20 to 30,000 Wu troops, assuming they took minimal casualties at Chibi, while Wei had an unknown number of soldiers, but it was probably slightly more than Sun's forces. The inspector of Yang province, Liu Fu, was in charge over the city he had constructed at Hefei, as the general who exterminates barbarians, Sun Quan, led his attack force from Taisang. Zhang Zhao also led a separate detachment of troops to assault Guangqi in Jiangling commandery. When Cao Cao heard news of the attack, he sent Zhang Xi with 1,000 horsemen to gather additional troops from Runan, then to go and reinforce the heavily fortified city. When Sun Quan's army arrived at Hefei, intense fighting ensued at the walls until the following year, but he was unable to breach the fort. He relied on his flourishing strength to shake the enemy ranks with his light cavalry, viciously charging at them again and again. Chief Clerk Zhang Hong advised against it. Using the military in offensive moves is a dangerous matter. Our army's morale is high, so if we fiercely launch sudden attacks, the troops will eventually end up disappointed. Surely slaying enemy generals, capturing their flags and installing fear into them is the mission to be carried out by a subordinate general and not the commander-in-chief. I hereby hope you can control your zeal and courage to possess the strategies of an overlord's planning. After Hefei had been under attack for several months, heavy rain began to fall, but Sun Quan still stopped leading the assaults, even though the fortress walls were starting to collapse and Zhang Xi's relief force was still yet to arrive. Liu Fu ordered his men to use straw and palm leaves to cover up the cracks in the walls, then at night he lit torches to brighten the scene outside so he could see the enemy's movements, then counter his men into appropriate positions. Meanwhile in Jiangling, Zhang Zhao failed his assault on the riverbank fortress at Guangqi, so was forced to retreat. The battle at Hefei dragged on into the year 208, but Liu Fu was at a loss on how to resist the enemy, so he gave up his command over the army. Assistant officer of Yang province, Jiangji, took up command over the troops, then suggested using a strategy to deceive the enemy. He sent an official to pretend to receive Zhang Xi's 40,000 strong relief force, while also sending 3 officers with fake letters out of Hefei. Only one of the 3 returned, as the others were captured by Sun Quan. Zhang Hong advanced his plan by saying, "When the ancients besieged enemy cities, they opened one side to cast doubt into the army's heart. Encircling it completely and then attacking makes it hard-pressed. The enemy becomes afraid and truly devoted to the death strength. Enemies with no chance of rescue are forced to fight to the death, which is very difficult for our soldiers to beat. Seeing as rescue has not yet arrived, we can be slightly lenient on them and observe for changes." The other nearby officers disagreed, as it seemed that Wei rescue had quickly arrived south of the encirclement, charging and challenging for battle. Sun Quan read the challenges within the fake letters and thought that Zhang Xi's reinforcements had indeed arrived, so he had his troops burn down their camps for a hasty retreat. Sun Quan had fallen for the ruse, so thanks to Zhang Xi's secret planning, this siege on Hefei was repelled.